Good morning, guys. Welcome to Storytime with Candace and Alyssa. So, today our fruit of the Spirit is gentleness. Now, before we get into our lesson, let's go over our fruit of the Spirit verse. So, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. I think I mixed those up. Against such thing, there is no law. That's Galatians 5:22 and 23. All right, so gentleness is something that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. Gentleness is being loving and tender and calm and humble in the things you say and do instead of being harsh or mean. It's a mildness or quiet, gentle spirit. When you're talking with someone, you can speak the truth, but you speak it in love, and there's no meanness or harshness in a gentle spirit. So we can be loving and tender and calm and humble in the things we say and do. So I just want to go over a little verse here for you. It kind of sums up gentleness, and it's from Proverbs 15:1. Now, Proverbs is a book full of wisdom and stuff that is excellent to learn and shows you some excellent ways to live. So, Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." So that might be something you notice. If you speak kindly to your brothers and sisters or your parents, they probably respond kindly back to you. But if you say something in anger to someone, they probably respond in the same way. So it's good to know that we need to be gentle with each other and kind, and that gentleness will be reciprocated or shown by the other person that we're talking to. Okay, so let's say that verse again together. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. Awesome, guys. David was a shepherd, but when God looked at him, he saw a king. Sure enough, when David grew up, that's just what he became. And David was a great king. He had a heart like God's heart, full of love. Now that didn't mean he was perfect, because he did some terrible things. He even murdered a man. No, David made a big mess of his life. But God can take even the biggest mess and make it work in his plan. "I need a new heart, Lord," David prayed, "because mine is full of sin. Make me clean inside." God heard David's prayer. He forgave David, and he made David a promise. "I will make you great, David, and one day a king will be born into your family, and he will heal the whole world." Did you know that David was a songwriter too? In fact, his songs were so good that they might have been in the top 40 charts, if the top 40 charts had been invented then. David's songs are like prayers. They are called psalms, and this one is called the Song of the Shepherd. It's probably number 1 on the psalm charts, and it goes like this. "God is my shepherd, and I am his little lamb. He feeds me. He guides me. He looks after me. I have everything I need. Inside my heart is very quiet as lying still in soft green grass, in a meadow by a little stream. Even when I walk through the dark, scary, lonely places, I won't be afraid, because my shepherd knows where I am. He is here with me. He keeps me safe. He rescues me. He makes me strong and brave. He is getting wonderful things ready for me, especially for me. Everything I ever dreamed of. He fills my heart so full of happiness, I can't hold it all inside. Wherever I go, I know God's never stopping, never giving up, unbreakable, always and forever love will go too. God gave David that song to sing to his people so they could know that he loved them and would always look after them, like a shepherd loves his sheep. And one day, God was going to do something that would inspire thousands upon thousands of new songs. God was going to show his people once and for all just how much he loved them. Another shepherd was coming. He was a greater shepherd. He would be called the Good Shepherd. And this shepherd was going to lead all of God's lambs back to the place where they had always belonged, close to God's heart.
Hey guys, welcome to snack time. So today for snack time, we are going to make baked apples. So let's get to it. All right, so the first thing we have to do is just cut our apples in half and remove our core. Get all this stuff out of here that we don't eat. I had gala apples right now, so those are what I'm using today. I'm gonna make 3 of them for the 3 children that live in this house. When I'm doing this, I'm kind of trying to make a hole in the middle of them on purpose, because that hole is going to become the little spot where we put all our yummy stuff. Okay, get our seeds out. And one more. These are really simple. I remember my mom used to make us baked apples too. I haven't had a baked apple for a long time. Just get the middle out of this one. There. Okay. So now that I have my apples cut and I have the cores out of them, I'm going to get our fillings ready. And for the fillings in this recipe, all it is 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, mixed with just a half tablespoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon's almost gone. Let's see if I can get a little more out of there. A little bit more. And then we'll just kind of mix that up so it's all mixed together. Okay. Now I have my baking sheet ready, and I'm just gonna line up my apples on top like so. And then in each apple, I'm going to put just a little piece of butter, just right in our little hole that we made in each one. And then that butter will help to make them brown and yummy. My finger there. I get that last little bit in that one there. And then we just use our brown sugar sprinkle that we made, and we're just gonna sprinkle them on top. I have a silicone pad underneath because I think this is gonna stick like crazy, so you might wanna put a parchment paper or something if you don't have one of those, because I think that the cinnamon or the sugar is gonna melt on there and really make a sticky mess. But that's what makes them so delicious. All right, they're ready to go. So now I need to pop these in the oven at 375. I'm not exactly sure how long it's gonna take. I'm expecting like 20 minutes is what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm gonna start with, and then we'll go from there and see how long they take. All right, let's see what they look like when they're all done. All right, guys, here they are. Don't they look good? They smell really good. And you can even hear them sizzling still. I just took them out of the oven. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these apples and I am going to put it in a bowl. They are still very hot. And that's a perfect time to put on a little scoop of ice cream. Mmm. Here's a scoop of ice cream on my warm apple. It's gonna melt and be so yummy. Doesn't that look good? They ended up being in there for about 25 minutes, and now they finally feel nice and kind of soft, so they'll be able to scoop into them with a spoon and have a yummy treat. All right, you guys have fun with snack.
Hey guys, I kind of have a little visual aid that shows gentleness. So I have with me my friend, his name is Bob. Bob the egg, all right? So Bob, we're gonna say some kind things to him like, Bob, you're sweet, you're smart, you're brave, we love you, and all that kind of stuff. And do you know what? When I go and kind of give Bob a squeeze, you know what? He's still intact. Did you know that? Bob is still all put together. But do you know what? If we use words that aren't gentle and aren't kind, like, Bob, you're stupid, that's like cracking, just a second here. That's like cracking Bob's shell. So, Bob, you're stupid. Bob, you're mean. Bob, you're short. Bob, you're ugly. So those kinds of things, I don't know if you can see that there, that wrecks Bob's shell here. And I mean, Bob is still smiling on the outside. He might look fine, but when you go to put pressure on Bob, he cracks and he breaks. And we can't put that back together again. That's something that you can't do to put it back together. We need to speak kind and loving words so that we don't hurt someone and break them, okay? Now, I'm gonna go clean up Bob.
Hey guys, are you ready to do a craft with me? All right, let's get our stuff ready. All right, so for this craft, you need some kind of jar or bottle or something. I found this little bottle in our recycling, so that's what I'm going to use. And then I cut out a piece of paper that can wrap around it. It fits on here just right, so I can wrap it around. And I wrote our Bible verse on it, the one that we learned today. Do you remember it? It says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Proverbs 15:1. So I just wrote that out on this piece of paper, and I got a couple markers. I'm going to decorate it a little bit. And that verse reminds me of this story. If you want to look up the story, it's in 1 Samuel chapter 25. And it's about a man named Nabal and his wife Abigail. And Nabal, they describe him as being a mean brute. So he wasn't a very nice guy, our Nabal. His wife Abigail, the Bible describes as being intelligent, so she was a very wise woman. Now, David happened to be around where Nabal was, kind of traveling around with his army. And while they were out in the fields, Nabal's shepherds were out there shearing their sheep, meaning taking the wool off. And while they were out there, David's army looked after them. They watched over them to make sure that nobody hurt them, that nobody tried to attack them, because they did that out in the wilderness. And after they were done, David sent a messenger to Nabal and said, "Hey, Nabal, we were in the neighborhood. I just wanted to send my messengers over to meet you and see what was going on. And I thought, hey, we were out here working hard, taking care of your guys. I thought maybe you'd want to share some of your food with us." Well, Nabal was not so friendly, and he was mean to David's messengers, and he said, "Who is this David guy? Why should I have to share some of my food and stuff with him?" And all the messengers took that message back to David. And well, David was not happy. In fact, he said to his guys, "You know what, guys? Put on your swords. We are going to go and attack Nabal. He doesn't get to talk to me like that." And so David took 400 of his guys and they marched over to where Nabal was. Now, one of the shepherds went and told Abigail. And Abigail, who was a wise woman, saw what foolish thing her husband did and knew she had to try to stop it. And so she went out and she got 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep, a bushel of grain, 100 raisin cakes, 200 fig cakes, and took them all out to David. And David was marching toward Nabal, so they met each other on the road. And when she met David, she used her gentle words to calm him down so that he wouldn't go and attack Nabal. And it worked. And that reminds me of this verse because it says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." So Nabal's harsh words made David angry, and then Abigail's gentle words calmed him down and made peace. And then after that, David thanked God for sending Abigail, because really, Nabal would have been dead meat if David got to him. So that was the wisdom of the gentleness of Abigail. So David accepted her gift, and Abigail went home in peace. And that really reminds me of our lessons today. So I just glued our verse onto my Bible. I just decorated it a little bit for fun. And now this week, I'm going to use this bottle, and every time I hear somebody in my family or somebody at work or somebody throughout the day doing something gentle, using their gentle and kind words to speak to someone, I'm going to take one of the beads from my bead bucket and I'm going to pop it in my bottle, and I'm going to see how many of these I can collect this week. So you guys find a bottle or a jar that you can do the same. All right, guys, see you next time. Hey guys, so for today's Fruit in Action, we're going to do another worship song, and you guys know this worship song. We've done this one at Sunday school before. It reminds me of a story, another story about Jesus' gentleness, and you can find this story in Luke chapter 7. It's about a woman who comes to a supper at a Pharisee's house, a Pharisee named Simon, and Pharisees were people that knew God's law very, very well. And Simon had invited Jesus to come and talk about the law and talk about his perspective on things. And this woman was there, and she felt led and she felt drawn in by Jesus's gentleness and kindness, that she wept on his feet and anointed his feet with perfume, because she was a sinner and she needed forgiveness for her sin. And in Jesus's gentleness, he did forgive her in that moment. It's a really great story, and I think it's a nice example of how gentle Jesus was. And so I wanted to sing this song because that's what it reminded me of. We fall down, we lay our crown.
right, guys. You go find ways to be gentle this week. See you next time.